Untangling and testing lights before hanging is crucial. Neglecting to untangle lights properly and test them before hanging results in frustration. Inspect each string for damaged bulbs or frayed wires. Replace any faulty components before you begin. Starting without a power source leads to difficulties. Beginning to hang lights without considering where the power outlet will be located leads to difficulties. Plan your layout and ensure you have sufficient access to power. Overloading circuits can cause blown fuses. Connecting too many strings of lights together without using a surge protector causes blown fuses. Check the wattage of your lights and the capacity of your circuit to avoid overloading. Using a surge protector provides an extra layer of safety. Bypassing fuses poses a safety hazard. Inserting a small bolt into the fuse holder to avoid blowing fuses poses a significant safety hazard. Never bypass fuses as it eliminates a crucial safety mechanism designed to prevent electrical fires. Using the wrong end of lights can create connection issues. Failing to realize that some strings of lights have different ends that must be connected properly. Pay attention to the plug configurations and ensure they are compatible. Using inappropriate adapters results in ineffective connections. Attempting to plug lights into an outlet adapter designed for light bulbs results in ineffective connections. Use appropriate extension cords and power strips that are designed for outdoor use if applicable. Purchasing extension cords with two male ends is a potential fire hazard. This is a potential fire hazard as it allows for the connection of two live ends. Never use extension cords with two male ends as they create a dangerous situation. Now let's go deeper into each of these common mistakes. Firstly, untangling and testing the lights properly is absolutely key before you even think about climbing a ladder. It's tempting to just grab a string of lights and start hanging them, but this is a recipe for frustration. Take the time to carefully untangle each string, and as you're doing that, give it a good visual inspection. Look for any damaged bulbs, frayed wires, or cracked sockets. These are all potential fire hazards, and it's much easier to deal with them on the ground than when you're halfway up a ladder. Once you've untangled the lights, plug them in to test them. If any bulbs are out, replace them immediately. Many Christmas light sets come with extra bulbs for this purpose. If you don't have any spares, you can usually find replacement bulbs at most hardware or department stores. A bulb tester can be a handy tool for quickly identifying which bulbs are bad. Secondly, planning your power strategy before you start hanging lights is crucial. Don't just assume you'll figure it out as you go along. Take a walk around your property and identify where your available outlets are. Consider the distance from the outlets to where you want to hang the lights. Do you need extension cords? If so, make sure they're the right type. Outdoor extension cords are designed to withstand the elements and are much safer than indoor extension cords for outdoor use. Also, be mindful of how much power you're drawing from each outlet. Overloading a circuit can trip a breaker or even start a fire. Check the wattage of your lights and the amperage rating of your circuit. As a general rule, don't exceed 80% of the circuit's capacity. If you're unsure, it's always best to err on the side of caution. Thirdly, a very dangerous practice is bypassing fuses. Never ever bypass the fuse in a string of Christmas lights. The fuse is there for a reason, and that reason is to protect you and your home from electrical fires. If a fuse blows, it means there's a problem with the lights. Instead of bypassing the fuse, find the problem and fix it. It could be a short circuit, a damaged wire, or too many lights plugged into the same circuit. Bypassing the fuse might seem like a quick fix, but it's a gamble that's not worth taking. Fourthly, many people don't realize that some strings of Christmas lights have different types of ends. Some have a male plug on one end and a female receptacle on the other, allowing you to connect multiple strings together end to end. Others have a male plug on both ends, which means they are designed to be used as a single string. Before you start hanging the lights, take a look at the ends and make sure they are compatible with how you plan to use them. If you try to force a connection that's not meant to be, you could damage the lights or even create a fire hazard. Fifthly, using the wrong type of adapter can cause problems. For example, Using a light bulb socket adapter to plug in a string of Christmas lights can be problematic. These adapters are typically not designed to handle the power load of multiple lights, and they can overheat and create a fire hazard. Instead, use a proper extension cord or power strip that's designed for the purpose. Make sure the extension cord or power strip is rated for outdoor use if you're using it outdoors. Sixthly, extension cords with two male ends are incredibly dangerous and should never be used. These cords, sometimes called suicide cords, create a live male plug at both ends, presenting a severe electrocution risk. They can energize any metal object they come into contact with, and they violate basic electrical safety principles. If you encounter such a cord, dispose of it immediately and never attempt to use it. Additional safety tips to keep in mind include using a non-conductive ladder when hanging lights. Metal ladders can conduct electricity, which is extremely dangerous when working with electrical wiring. Opt for a fiberglass or wooden ladder instead. Keep extension cords out of standing water. Water conducts electricity, so it's essential to keep extension cords away from puddles, sprinklers, and other sources of water. Use clips or hooks to secure the lights. Don't use nails, screws, or staples, as these can damage the wiring and create a fire hazard. Turn off the power before making any connections or repairs. This will help prevent electric shock. Inspect your lights regularly throughout the holiday season. Look for any signs of damage or wear and tear. If you find anything, repair or replace the lights immediately. By following these tips, you can avoid common mistakes and ensure a safe and enjoyable holiday season. Remember, safety should always be your top priority when decorating with Christmas lights. Now let's consider the National Electrical Code, or NEC, and how it relates to holiday lighting. While the NEC doesn't specifically address Christmas lights, it does provide general guidelines for electrical safety that are applicable. For example, NEC Section 310.15 addresses the ampacity of conductors, which is the maximum current a conductor can carry without exceeding its temperature rating. When connecting multiple strings of Christmas lights, it's important to ensure that the total current draw doesn't exceed the ampacity of the extension cord or circuit wiring. NEC Section 400 covers flexible cords and cables, which are commonly used for Christmas lights. This section specifies the types of cords that are permitted for different applications and provides requirements for their construction and use. When selecting extension cords for outdoor use, make sure they are listed for wet locations and are heavy-duty enough to handle the load. NEC Section 590 addresses temporary installations, which can include holiday lighting. This section provides requirements for grounding, overcurrent protection, and other safety measures. When installing temporary lighting, it's important to follow these requirements to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant. Let's now delve into the specifics of electrical circuits and how they work in the context of Christmas lights. A typical household circuit in North America is rated for either 15 amps or 20 amps at 120 volts. This means that the circuit can safely handle a certain amount of electrical power before the circuit breaker trips. To calculate the total power that a circuit can handle, you can use the formula power equals voltage times current. For a 15 amp circuit at 120 volts, the total power is 1800 watts. For a 20 amp circuit at 120 volts, the total power is 2400 watts. Christmas lights typically have a wattage rating printed on the packaging. To determine how many strings of lights you can safely connect to a circuit, you need to add up the wattage of all the strings and make sure it doesn't exceed 80% of the circuit's capacity. For a 15 amp circuit, the maximum wattage is 1440 watts. For a 20 amp circuit, the maximum wattage is 1920 watts. It's always a good idea to leave some headroom to account for other appliances that may be on the same circuit. Let's say you have a string of Christmas lights that is rated for 100 watts. On a 15 amp circuit, you could safely connect up to 14 strings of these lights. On a 20 amp circuit, you could safely connect up to 19 strings of these lights. However, it's important to remember that these are just estimates. The actual wattage of the lights may vary, and other appliances may be drawing power from the same circuit. It's always best to err on the side of caution and avoid overloading the circuit. In addition to the NEC, there may be local electrical codes that apply to holiday lighting. These codes may vary depending on your location, so it's always a good idea to check with your local authorities to see if there are any specific requirements. Some municipalities may require permits for temporary electrical installations, such as holiday lighting. They may also have restrictions on the types of lights that can be used and the IOs that they can be illuminated. By following these codes and regulations, you can help ensure that your holiday lighting is safe and compliant. Another important consideration is the type of Christmas lights you use. There are two main types of Christmas lights: incandescent and LED. Incandescent lights are the traditional type of Christmas lights. They are relatively inexpensive, but they consume a lot of energy and can get very hot. LED lights are a newer type of Christmas lights. They are more expensive than incandescent lights, but they consume much less energy and stay much cooler. LED lights are also much more durable and can last for many years. As a result, LED lights are becoming increasingly popular for holiday lighting. When choosing Christmas lights, it's important to consider the wattage rating. LED lights typically have a much lower wattage rating than incandescent lights, so you can connect more strings of LED lights to a circuit without overloading it. For example, a string of incandescent lights may be rated for 50 watts, while a string of LED lights may be rated for only 10 watts. This means that you could connect up to 5 times as many strings of LED lights to a circuit compared to incandescent lights. In addition to the wattage rating, it's also important to consider the color and style of the lights. Christmas lights come in a wide variety of colors and styles, so you can choose the ones that best suit your preferences. Some people prefer traditional white lights, while others prefer colorful lights. Some people prefer steady lights, while others prefer flashing lights. Ultimately, the choice is up to you. When installing Christmas lights, it's important to be aware of potential hazards. One of the biggest hazards is the risk of electric shock. Electric shock can occur if you come into contact with live electrical wiring. To prevent electric shock, always turn off the power before making any connections or repairs. Also, avoid working with electrical wiring in wet conditions. Another potential hazard is the risk of fire. Fires can occur if Christmas lights are overloaded or if they are not properly maintained. To prevent fires, always check the wattage rating of the lights and avoid overloading the circuit. Also, inspect the lights regularly for any signs of damage or wear and tear. If you find anything, repair or replace the lights immediately. Furthermore, consider the environmental impact of your Christmas lights. Incandescent lights consume a lot of energy, which contributes to greenhouse gas emissions. LED lights are much more energy efficient, so they have a smaller environmental impact. When choosing Christmas lights, consider using LED lights to reduce your carbon footprint. You can also recycle your old Christmas lights. Many municipalities and retailers offer recycling programs for Christmas lights. By recycling your old lights, you can help conserve resources and reduce pollution. Decorating with Christmas lights can be a fun and festive tradition. By following these safety tips and guidelines, you can help ensure that your holiday lighting is safe, efficient, and environmentally friendly. Enjoy the holiday season and stay safe.